Hey, welcome to Musings, episode number 380. We are
380.
live, and it is November 13th, 10:01 a.m. So,
It is.
So, Scott,
How are you?
Good, man. Let's talk some real estate real quick.
Real estate. All right.
Yeah, knock it out.
All right. Team Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technology to maximize your home buying and selling experience, we never forget at Score. It's a people business. That's right. Go figure. In this day of AI and everything else, we treat you like a human being. It's a crazy concept, but it works. In a year where most real estate agents are down, we are having our record year 2 years in a row. So, and it's because we get a great return from our past clients, referrals from our past clients. And we can't thank them enough. It's been a great year. We're now past the election, which means we typically will see a bump occur here in the next month or so. But I want to talk a little bit about what's projected now. I was reading up on the post-election projections as far as what this means for our economy. And what I'm reading is they're projecting an increased confidence for people who've been in their houses for a while. A lot of people have been sitting on their houses, not wanting to make any kind of a lateral move or anything like that. They're only moving if they absolutely have to. And the projection is we're going to see a 9 to 13% increase in inventory next year, and the year after, another 9 to 13% increase in inventory. So what does that mean? It means that if that happens, we probably will see the end to the seller's market here, where sellers are just getting insane amounts of offers and crazy above asking prices. We'll probably see days on market taking a little longer. Why? If the economy's doing better, why is it going to be that way? Well, it's because buyers are going to have more options. They're going to be able to choose what houses they want instead of settling for, one house that 40 other people also want. So more options, and it's good. It's healthy for real estate to have a proper balance between buyers and sellers, and there's a healthy negotiations happening. It's never good when the seller has all the power or the buyer has all the power. And I've been around long enough to see both. Yeah. When buyers have all the power, like back in 2007-ish, oh my God, it was brutal. You'd have a house on the market for 100 days and have 3 showings. And then someone would come in and be like, I'm going to offer you 200,000 less. I want your first child and a pile of cash under the bed. It just
I'm sure they were claiming first night too, just like in Braveheart.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait, first night. We've been married 25 years. Too late. I want
it. Right. So my prediction for next year is we're going to see a balance of power between buyers and sellers, which is good. We're going to see more houses hit the market. A lot of people have been sitting on their houses for a while. They've been, especially back during COVID, we saw a lot of people choosing to renovate their homes and live in them instead of moving. So, we're going to be 5 years past that next year. So people are starting to get an itch to move is what I'm reading. So what does that mean? If you have a house to sell, it's going to be more important to make your house really nice, do those little repairs and fix-ups that will help it show better because you're going to have more competition and that kind of stuff. So anyways, give us a call, especially at any time in the next 6 months, whether it's next week or 6 months from now. If you're thinking about making a move, give us a call now because we can get you on that journey. It's free. There's no charge to talk to us. We'll come see your house. We'll give you a market analysis based on what it's worth today. We'll give you our 2 cents on what kind of work you should do to maximize the house without breaking the bank. There are some things, you could do, but it'll cost a fortune. You're not going to get your full investment back. So we'll give you common sense suggestions to maximize what you get for the house. So I posted our number, 586-232-5144. Check it out. Call us, and we're here for you.
All righty then. So the other things going on, you mentioned about since last week with the election, there's been a lot of changes going on. One has been the stock market. Has gone up. The other thing is I had invested some money in one of the cryptocurrencies a while back, and it was one that was kind of expected to go somewhere, and it didn't. It actually dropped. I was down, quite a bit. Well, since last week, in 1 week time, it's up 274%.
Yeah, I've been hearing all of them been going up.
It's over what I initially invested. I haven't cashed out yet. I'm kind of watching it. I figured this is money that I was like, okay, I felt like I lost it a long time ago. And if it never came back, I wasn't. And it was money I knew I could afford to lose. So that's why you don't put money into stuff unless you are willing to take a gamble with it. Now I'm watching it. So I go up there, and it's up a little ways over, about 20% over what I invested originally.
Nice.
So I'm kind of hoping. I'm hoping that if it keeps this trend going like as last week, I'm watching it. If it doubles, I'm going to cash out what I put into it.
Yeah, one of the indicators too is I haven't checked out it in the last couple of days, but at least initially, value of gold decreased, and the reason was so many people pulled they took their money out of the U.S. dollar and invested it into gold to kind of make it a safe place to park your wealth. Mm-hmm. And after the election, a lot of people cashed in their gold to convert it back to US dollars so they could put it in the stock market, into cryptos, into other things. So we're seeing those other areas go up because people are having confidence. So it's a good sign. We'll see where it goes. Time will tell. But it's definitely a good indicator of where things are going to go.
Yeah, it's and it's all right now is still the early stuff. Nothing's going to happen until after January 20th in terms of what Trump's going to do. He can't do anything yet until he's actually taken the oath and becomes president. Then,
look at what's happening already.
Yeah, well, a lot of this stuff is it's this stuff he can't control though. This is all speculation right now. So
but Mexico is putting a stop to that caravan that's getting broken up.
Right.
Putin has announced he wants to work with the U.S. The EU has announced they're going to.
Yeah, well, again, this is all stuff that it's because election's over. To get into it, I'm saying is I'm dealing with just the finance side of stuff. Is everything he says he wants to do in that realm he can't do until after January 20th. So now is a time for you to look at it as a chance to, if you had money that you're willing to lose, because it's always a gamble. Then this will be you think about looking at some of this stuff, but don't go wholeheartedly into just one thing. Really look at the broad spectrum of everything and seek real advice from people, not guys like Scott and I. We're not taking any credit for you losing money. And if you make money though, I want 10%.
Here's a surefire way to beat the economy.
But the other stuff that's going on, that's all stuff that, that it's because the elections haven't, nothing really fully officially happens till January 20th. So
exactly.
But it's been interesting to see the financial side of stuff this last week. Of course, I was seeing stuff this morning. I mean, price of eggs are up like 600% or something ridiculous. It's crazy. Yeah. But they also had the bird flu they didn't hardly talk about.
Yeah, I am curious to see down the road here with RFK Jr. getting involved with our food supply and making things more healthy. There's a lot of crap that happens with the FDA, and we'll see. But I'm very optimistic about, the more I've learned about our food supply here in the U.S., it's not good. And there's a lot of improvements that I think are going to happen.
Yeah, this is where social media, TikTok, things like that have actually been a positive in some ways of pointing out the American food supply versus like the European countries that have a lot more cleaner food. And, stuff like, I hear about this from Britain and England and stuff like that. And it's a different, and people notice a different taste. I see people posting all the time. Like, I went on vacation in Europe for a month and I ate everything I wanted and I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah. My big surprise was when Kevin and I did Paris.
Yeah.
And we ate at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Eating a burger at McDonald's in Paris tasted like a gourmet burger here.
Yeah.
Like, because it was fresh meat. The ketchup tasted like when we would eat at restaurants that have homemade ketchup that they make, and it's fresh made.
Yeah, like, it doesn't have all the what it does. It doesn't have 50 ingredients. It has 3 to 5.
Everything tasted so fresh and real.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is. I know in France, reading about that a little bit. In France, it's they don't do like the mega grocery stores. They're always amazed here, but the thing is, they go almost every day to their local markets and get everything fresh that day.
Yeah, it made such a difference to
Yeah.
food. And that was probably my biggest eye opener traveling overseas, was just how fresh things tasted. It Yeah, you live here and you just kind of accept this is how food is until you go to some place like that. And when a McDonald's burger tastes like a freshly made gourmet burger, like you're like, okay, what's up?
And that is the difference.
Yeah, it's the chemicals. They don't allow the chemicals that we allow in our food supply for whatever reason. Well, I think it's just money, but yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe it'll help me lose some of this belly here.
Okay. Well, and that's the whole thing is cleaner, healthier. And I don't always subscribe to here the America the idea that organic is better, because I've seen enough articles, I've seen enough some of the news, and they talk about organics, and they still use chemicals, they still do different things, and just because it says it's organic doesn't necessarily mean it's actually healthier than the non-organic.
Aren't there like multiple levels of organic, like different? I thought there was a way to tell. Or I think it's the product code. Like if you know the
probably, yeah. But yeah, everything's organic means they don't use any chemicals. No, they still can.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see where that goes. I want talking about food real quick. I wanted to point this out. This is a restaurant I eat at on a regular basis. This was last night. A car drove through their window. It's Nori's restaurant over at 21 and Hayes.
Oh,
I actually was supposed to be eating there last night. Well, not supposed to. I was going to.
It was a targeted attack.
Yeah.
Selling too many homes, buying too many homes.
So yesterday, I've been working away on Last Light, and I'll give the update on that in a little bit. But so I just ran out yesterday for lunch. I went to Nori's to eat lunch. Got myself a grilled chicken pita that was delicious. Came back. I was working all day, and then in the evening, I'm like, I'm just gonna go grab a quick bite for dinner. I was gonna go to Nori's again and get an omelet. And I decided, you know what? There's a Leo's right here. I already ate at Nori's today. I'll spread some of the money, and so I went to Leo's instead. And when I was leaving, all these fire trucks and cop cars went by, heading in the direction of Nori's. You know, I obviously didn't realize that's what they were doing. But later on, I saw this, and I was like, "Oh crap! I would have been there when that happened." It sounds like it was a student driver.
Okay.
His mother was in the passenger seat. I think my guess is he accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake, and then your natural impulse is to, because this isn't a straightaway. It's not like it's this direct line where someone could accidentally drive into it. It's a small. He didn't have much room to accelerate. So my theory is he, out of instinct, pushed harder on the gas, thinking it was the brake, and accelerated further. One of the waitresses were hurt. I'm
sorry to hear that.
Hopefully it's not that I have a preference, but the owners, it's a husband and wife who own it.
Yeah.
Nice couple. All the waitresses are great here. But the wife is very pregnant. She's, I'm guessing, 8 months, maybe 7 at the lowest end, 7. So hopefully it wasn't her struck. I haven't heard.
I think if it was, that would have been in an article, like a pregnant woman. That would have been big news. They'd have been all over that. That would have made the regular news channels. Yeah.
So hopefully it wasn't her. I mean, hopefully whoever it was that got hurt, or one of the waitresses had to be taken to the hospital. It said priority 1. So I don't know if that's like critical. I don't know what that means. Priority 1. Injuries to the hospital. So hopefully
priority 1 trauma is a patient with life-threatening injuries or illnesses require immediate medical care. So they probably were something's broken.
Yeah. So
sorry, I hate to hear that.
Although if she's pregnant too, if it was her, I could see them out of precaution doing that too. So we'll see. I hope everyone, I'm praying for everyone there. But yeah, I was going to be there last night. Now where it went through, I usually sit to the left, so I would have been in front of that window there.
You'd have been like,
spot. Yeah, right? Seriously, that would be freaky. You're just sitting there eating, not expecting anything, and all of a sudden, crash.
And then you're like, and no because we got hurt, but be like, crash comes through, and if nobody got hurt, you can really make fun of it. But you sit there going, "Oh, hey, waitress, there's a glass in my food now."
Yeah, right.
So, but no, I hope whoever got hurt
Yeah.
is okay. And this season, mine was a priority one when I was in my car accident 18 years ago. So it's a lot of times it's like a broken bone, stuff like that, trauma. They definitely want to get you there as quick as possible to make sure nothing is really worse. So
yeah,
we'll keep them in prayers on that. So
yeah, definitely. Hopefully everyone's good.
But speaking of food, you got to come out and have breakfast with Mom and I last week.
Oh, that was really good.
Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy on Ford Road in Canton, Michigan. They have a location somewhere up near you.
I'll have to look them up. They were so delicious.
I don't know. I haven't compared them. So it's like Wednesdays, I'll have to come up and have breakfast with you up there. But I know there was one up there. I'm looking to see where I can find it because they so it was somewhere up. I wanted to say I was thinking Sterling Heights, but I'm probably wrong. Clawson, maybe.
Okay, that's not too far. That's kind of close to
Main
Breakfast
Street
Club. Yeah, that's kind of close to Breakfast Club where we go.
Yeah. So biscuits and gravy in Clawson. I think they're affiliated, but I'm not sure how. I mean, it's the same name. It's just small places, but they have different stuff. It looks like too. Yeah,
I could go try them if they're not as good. I'll be like, you sit on a throne of lies. You're not the real biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, they got a lot of different stuff. So let me see.
One of the things I really liked, and I didn't have it, but I definitely want to try it, is they have a big carafe that warms up the maple syrup. So it's real maple syrup, you told me. And so you get a serving of hot maple syrup with your pancakes or waffles.
Yeah, they got a couple things. Like they have their Country Benedict, it sounds just like the one at the other place in Canton. They have a bunch of their specialty omelets, looks very similar. They said a couple of different things that are different, and maybe it's over there. Like they have a huevos rancheros. I don't remember seeing that. They have a home style corned beef and hash. But yeah, so if I don't really look at their burgers and sandwiches, soups. I don't do lunch. I always just do breakfast. But they're doing some. It says here spring specials. So I assume they haven't updated their website in a while. But that one's 331 North Main at Clawson. So
nice,
similar breakfast lunch type place. So
if you go to the contact us page, you can see the picture. They got a giant chicken on the roof.
Well, alrighty then. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, I see that now. But yeah, same name, biscuits and gravy. But that's got when I go to is in like a strip mall. This one looks like it might be more of a standalone.
Is it the same logo? Let's see.
Yeah. They got those pancakes though. Those the ones we looked at, the tiramisu looking pancakes or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
So it shows those. So I think they're affiliated. So, but yeah. So
these pictures look amazing. Ooh,
yeah.
I'm getting hungry looking at this. I have to go to Clawson.
Yeah. So, nice. But yeah, so I definitely have to go. I have to come out sometime and yeah, because it's not too far from that. It's a few blocks away from that Green Lantern Pizza. It's a 14-mile and Main Street area.
Yeah, also known as 14 and Livernois, Main Street and Livernois kind of
merge. Yeah, and it's just south of the MGR Troy Grand Cinema. So
yeah, I used to work right near there.
Yeah, and I've been to that Troy Cinema a couple times. I've gone over there with Mike from Great Lakes. So
nice.
When he's doing a couple things to help out promoting the Great Lakes event, which you're going to be a part of this year, coming up next year, actually.
Yep. Paid my table fee, so that's all secured.
Yep.
So
and
looking forward to that.
I don't know if I'll have it, but let's get the update on the Kickstarter.
All right. Yeah. So we are fully funded as far as the minimum funding goal. So it's definitely a go. We have 8 days left to go. I'll post the link here in the comments so you can go check it out. But yeah, very excited. Things are moving along. I'm very close to being done with all the colors. Then we got to do some final script touches, and then Brett can do his part with the lettering, and then we'll be ordering it. So it's moving along really good. One thing I just want to point out is if click the link, you can read all about the story. There's a little summary there. You can see all the different covers that we have available, and here's all 5 of them here. You can get them individually or as a set. but also if you're wanting to get caught up on past issues of like Crimson Shadows or anything like that, you can do that through the add-on. So we have all the different issues available there, our novels, our different other things too. So there's a lot there you can choose from Bardstone. One thing I do want to point out also in the add-ons, Kevin has made available his original inks for the interiors. His cover, someone already grabbed it, so the original cover is snatched.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's 14 pages available for interiors. They're on 11 by 17. They got marker ink washes. Kevin does a phenomenal job with his ink. So those are available for only $55 each. I mean, that's a steal for original interiors. And you get a copy of, oh no, these are the add-ons. I'm sorry. The cover, you get a copy of the book with it. But the first come, first serve. So whoever gets it, whoever's the first backer wanting this, you'll have first choice of pages. And then Kevin will contact each one in a row after that. So yeah, get in there early and grab it. There's the original for the cover. Like I said, somebody grabbed that up.
Nice.
Yeah, so good stuff. But go check it out. Our stretch goals begin at 2,000. So we're 442 away from unlocking a stretch goal. I'm going to be revealing those stretch goals really soon. That's our way, since we'll be able to order more and reduce our costs. We can add more and more rewards to your package to make you at no additional cost. So you get a bigger value the more we get.
Excellent.
Yeah. Check it out.
Cool. Well, I was talking with Scott before we got on air about the Penguin. We're not going to get too much into it because Scott hasn't finished the series yet. But once it's done, we'll give a full review of the whole series. But if you're not watching the Penguin and you've got Max, watch it. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This was exactly what these Marvel and DC need to be doing in connection with their movies. This is the first time it's been done properly. The closest we've gotten was Marvel with the Falcon Winter Soldier leading into the new Captain America that's coming out in February. But this right here was a great sequel to The Batman, which surprisingly was very good. I was not excited about that when I first heard about it because there hasn't been anything good DC in a while, but that was a good movie.
It was far better than I expected. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I was surprised I enjoyed it as much. And then The Penguin takes place immediately after those events. And it centers on Oswald Cobb. They don't call him Cobblepot. He's just Oswald Cobb or Oz. The Penguin name though for him, it's a nickname that everybody calls him. They kind of basically to make fun of him the way he walks and everything else because he's got issues with his leg and stuff like that. And they explore that even in the episodes as a child. They talk about it a couple times towards the later episodes, but. Colin Farrell, oh my gosh, you don't even recognize the guy, and he's just fantastic. He's got his accent down right. He's got doesn't bleed into his Irish accent at all.
You wouldn't know it's him. I think.
I mean, there's him. Know him. Yeah, that's him normally.
Yeah,
and then that's him as the Penguin.
Yeah.
And just fantastic. Just a great. The writing is really good. The characters are good. Batman can sometimes get way too campy, even when they try not to be. This is, to me, falls in line in the more seriousness of the Batman we started seeing in the 80s in the comics.
This feels more like Sopranos than it does Batman.
Well, and that's what the series itself does, definitely. Yeah, but they took the seriousness of writing like for Sopranos and with the gangster element, which is what the Penguin always was. He was always a gangster, an opportunist, different ways in that. And the way they got about this is they didn't make him campy. I mean, most people know the Burgess Meredith Penguin. That's kind of the one, and then the Danny DeVito one. This one here, I mean, you learn about his family life. You learn where he comes from, and he's from the area in Gotham. He's from this poor area, and the characters they introduced to this thing, they got great characters, a lot of great actors. Clancy Brown, he's in this, and he's just fantastic. The main antagonist to him is the character Sophia Falcone, played by Kristen Milotti, and she is great. She's just fantastic. And then the kid Victor Renzi Felice, I like him a lot. Mark Strong's in it as Carmine Falcone. He's just a great actor, period. So, and you've got a lot of other just people that pop up you recognize as character actors, things like that, like Theo Rossi playing Dr. Julian Rush. So there's like I said, just I think it's just top notch writing. And if there is going to be a second season, I'm going to say it's now. It'll come after the Batman 2 movie.
Yeah.
But showrunner, last thing on this for you comment, the showrunner did say he'd like to explore other Batman villains in the same way.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
That could be do each one as its own season, a standalone season, but focus on a different villain. Yes. That way, each villain gets a highlight. And then that way the movie can focus on the hero, Batman. Yep. But we know fully the story, because that's one of the biggest problems with the Batman movies is there's so many villains. Every time they introduce a new villain, half the movie is about the villain, just the origin story and who they are, and then you get very little Batman. So
yeah, and the Batman itself, the main villain was the Riddler, and I love the way they handled it in the Batman movie. Yeah, and a lot of ways, actually, the Batman movie reminded me more of it was some of the Batman video games that came out several years ago that were more grittier, that like the Arkham Knights and all that stuff. It felt like those, very gritty, not as over the top on the characterization, but you get some of that there. But like I mentioned, though, the one character through this whole thing that started popping up through these is Dr. Julian Rush. That's the Scarecrow, if you know your Batman. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, if they're setting up, and I can tell they're setting up something within that through these episodes. And I don't think this is a spoiler because they're not saying it directly, but I could see that being something coming out of Batman 2 and going into another series and dealing with him directly, and still be able to tie into the Penguin. Yeah. So since he's already been part of this series now, so I recommend go see it, watch it.
Yeah. One thing I was going to comment on is I'm forgetting the character's name, the main female villain there,
Sophia.
The actress, they were talking to her, and she says she feels like she never even met Colin Farrell because almost the entire time she saw him, he was as the Penguin. And when she sees him in real life now, she doesn't even feel like she knows him.
Yeah.
Because he's so different with all the makeup on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they did a full body suit on him to the point of, and I didn't really notice it, but I wasn't looking for it. Supposedly, they had a certain appendage actually attached to him on the suit when there was a scene where they basically had him stripped down and they were torturing him. Oh. And I didn't notice it, but I wasn't looking for it either. So, but I read an article about it after the fact. I was like, oh, didn't even notice.
Speaking of certain appendages,
yeah. Okay.
I don't have it up to show, but
thank God.
Not that. There's this ad for these pants. It's called like Bird Box or Bird Dog pants, I think it is.
Okay.
Oh my God. I thought it was a spoof. It's a real ad. And all their commercials are these guys standing with their leg up and talk about how comfortable these pants are. And you can see a definite shape running down the leg. and they're talking about how comfortable these pants are, and click the link to get your bird dog pants. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Well,
it's like quite obvious what's
I guess if you have the natural gift.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then read the comments in the ad. This is on Facebook. It's all over the place. The comments are like, well, Grandpa's definitely doing well. And like people are commenting. Then somebody else, they had another guy who also has quite the impression. But all the comments are like, all the women are like, bring Grandpa back. Because he was much more pronounced. It was like so crazy.
Jeez.
But There's a couple trailers that have come out too. Do you see Alien Earth has a trailer that came out, and then Disney with D23 has a coming in 2025 kind of snippet where they're teasing what's coming out next year.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you want to see any of those.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. So let's if you got it handy, we can watch it.
Yeah, which one do you want to see first? Alien Earth or D23?
Let's do the Alien Earth.
Okay, let me get that up. Let's see. Alien Earth is here. All right. Here we go. Alien Earth.
There's a creature. It's hunting me. Anybody, please copy. If it does, humanity will end. This is Emma, signing off. I'm alone here. It killed everyone. And now, all my crew members are dead. Reach Earth. I'm coming from it. I can't let that creature.
What's that?
That's coming to the end of the trailer. That's why.
So Alien Earth.
Yeah, see, that's because you went on this epic. You gotta go back to gotta find the actual studio.
I thought it was in the YouTube one.
No.
But anyways, that gives you a taste of what's coming on Hulu.
Yeah, it's a TV series. I looked it up real quick. It's going to be set 3 decades before the events of the 1979 film. So it's a prequel of sorts. FX on Hulu. So it's an FX series. It'll be on Hulu as well. So, but yeah, they that should have been part of the D23 stuff too, because Disney Plus would have that plus the Andor season 2 trailer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think Andor had an official season 2 trailer. I think it's a snippet. From what I could find, it's like 11 seconds from the D23 teaser. Wow. So I don't think it's an official full trailer. But let's see here. Here's the D23.
I've got I got something here.
Do you? Okay.
I think it's maybe the D23, but it's coming next year, so be sure. Oh, you got the same thing. Okay, you can run yours.
Run mine?
Yeah, looks like you got the same thing. And you got the actual Disney site, right, or IGN?
No, this is through MS. Let me see. Watch on YouTube. If I go to watch on YouTube,
here, I'll pull mine up.
You got it?
Yeah, I got mine.
Okay, yeah. If you got it from Disney, that'll be better.
Still IGN, but it's the official trailer. So
there we go.
I got something coming up. Something kind of big.
It just feels like the one.
Let's make it worth it. Excellent.
Sometimes your work family is closer to you than your family.
This could be a real adventure.
A crew of murderous pirates is coming.
I found the president lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
I have one rule. Stay out of the basement. This ship collected specimens from faraway moon. Monsters.
I want to build something iconic.
How far are you willing to go? Get what you want. By the look of it, you've come up in the world. I wonder if your darker half would agree.
What's up? It's Russ Holiday, former quarterback. But I'm not done with football.
You get to decide who you are.
My name's Chad Powers.
Your family was fostering a little girl. We're supposed to be on the same team.
True that we are on the same team.
She's not who she says she is. Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot.
You're thinking like a thief. I'm thinking like a soldier. Think like a leader.
Something big is about to happen. Let's bring them home.
All of this world. Everything's changed.
Is it still going?
Yeah, so that's just the trailer that they did.
Yeah,
that was done.
So I saw Percy Jackson season 2. Did you watch season 1 of that?
I did. I liked it.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I thought it was very well done. The movies always, because there was so much in the books, I didn't really get into the movies much. Right. Series was good though, and I like and part of it is that I met one of the young actresses at Vegas a couple years ago. She was there with her mom, and she was in one of the episodes, and she played a bully girl against Percy, and so I was like, oh, I know who she is. I met her, took a picture with her. So, but yeah, cool. I thought there was an actual Andor season 2 trailer, but that must have been just that one there I saw. So that was just the first looks, but from what I could see, the Andor season 2 looks good, and it's going to definitely do what they said, tie right into the Rogue One.
So they show him looks like he's stealing a TIE interceptor. Now, based on my, who knows what's canon anymore since they got rid of the other stuff, but the TIE interceptors came out just before Return of the Jedi in the canon from my memory. So maybe that's a prototype model he's stealing.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's see here. I pull up the Wikipedia. So let's see what they say here. I remember it being in. I remember the Return of the Jedi and that stuff, but I'm not sure if it was technically supposed to be introduced anytime sooner.
Which would make sense if it was a prototype.
Okay, here we go. Well, it was in Rebels. I forgot it was in Rebels, so it wasn't that.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. As some of the games like Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, so that would kind of put it in that time frame.
Post Return of the Jedi.
Well, the Fallen Order wasn't that the video game?
Yeah, but that's after Return of the Jedi, isn't it? Or was that before?
No, I thought that was the one that's in between.
Is it
3 and 4?
Fallen Order.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, that's the one that's between 3 and 4 because it's
3 and 4. Okay.
The Inquisitors are going after the kid from Shameless.
Okay.
The Cal Kestis. So first one came out in 2019. So it's after events of Episode 3. He's believed dead. So basically, it's when the Inquisitors are hunting down the last of the Jedi. Okay. So based on in canon stuff, which that game is in canon now, and so is the Star Wars Rebels series.
Okay. So there you go.
I would see it would fall around that time because they never. Yeah. I don't think they ever. I mean, we first saw a Jedi, but they never fully acknowledge where it came from. I don't think so.
I thought in the books they did, but that's
legend
old now.
Yeah, that's
old
now. So they're able to rewrite some of that. So, but it kind of would make sense. The Interceptor would be something they would have been working on because when you look at Vader's ship, with the way the wings were on his TIE.
Well, Vader's ship
he's not an interceptor, but it is heading in towards that design a little bit.
Well, and Vader's ship was technically a prototype. Also, it had a hyperdrive unit. None of the others did. Emperor didn't care enough about his pilots to put shields or hyperdrive units in.
Well, at least not initially, and then down the road you saw it added in. I think it was just something like just like our cars these days. Everybody gets like a backup camera because it's just cheaper to put it in anymore. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some interesting stuff coming on Disney next year. I'm definitely looking forward to Daredevil Andor season 2. The Alien series does look good.
Yeah.
And I like how it's tying in as a prequel. So it sounds like they're kind of explaining why they knew to go to that planet in the movie Alien, which they never fully addressed in any of the movies. I mean, it's been hinted at, or so we kind of knew, or this or that. The Prometheus movies were supposed to be the full backstory, and they sucked so bad that they're not even worth referencing.
Right.
Movies going forward. So, but so.
Did it?
Good.
Did you when you looked up? Let's see, timeline
for what?
For Alien Earth. When does that take place?
I googled it and it was Oh, what was it?
Show takes place in the 2090s, which is several decades.
Yeah, when I googled it, it popped it up, and then the thing down below is a quick facts on it, and then below that it had timeline, and it says, and so it's an AI thing, but it's September 5th. It's supposed to take place roughly 30 years before the events of the original movie. So it's an Earth story taking place in the year 2092. So it's a prequel to, and then
So it's happening around the same time as Prometheus, the movie Prometheus. It says on what I'm reading.
So that way they can, if they're going to take anything that was positive out of that for the story, and then use that.
Yeah,
but of course,
and they don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
they don't have to try to tie into the movies because it's beforehand. So
well, and realistically, you don't need to, because the original Alien movie, they find that guy sitting there, you know, the giant alien. So, which I forgot about till I rewatched Alien, because I didn't watch it in so many years. So
yeah.
But yeah, and that's where Prometheus was trying to build off of that to say, well, this was the original creators of the xenomorph. So
right.
Though I did see a video of some guy on like TikTok talking about the face huggers. He goes, did you notice he's got a plastic one, and he shows a close up of what you think, you know, the tentacles, and it's actually looks like fingers. There's joints, and then there's fingernails. So
yeah. So
it's like, yeah, makes sense, you know, because they were supposed to be made from those giant creatures back then anyway. So right. But it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. I hope it's good writing and everything else. The Bear, I know people love The Bear. I've watched part of the first season. I keep thinking about getting back into it. I just haven't. Not that I have anything against it. I like the guy that stars in. He's from Shameless. I know he's doing a biopic on Bruce Springsteen right now. But I was never that big of a Springsteen fan, so it doesn't bother me too much. Carried away. So so, but yeah. So I was looking here. I see a lot of like season 2 stuff, the trailers, but it's all, you gotta watch these postings of trailers on, because people post their own and say this is a real trailer, and it's not.
Yeah, and people can do a really good job now of creating fan trailers that look real.
Yeah, well, they use so much different footage and then spliced together, and you know, so it's kind of one of the things you need to go and look at the actual places. And it's one thing I tell Scott all the time is when he says, hey, did you see this news? I'm like, well, let's check Variety and Hollywood Reporter. Those are the 2 trades. And if I see nothing about there, then I don't believe any of it. It's like I keep hearing people tell me there's going to be a Goonies 2. No, there's not. There's never going to be a Goonies 2. And if they do another Goonies, they need to almost just reboot the whole thing. Because I don't care to see the Goonies 40 something years later as old guys, you know, running around or whatever. Especially the way, you know, they're all like, we wouldn't care, and I can tell.
Yeah, yeah. Goonies would be. It's that whole part of the problem with something like Goonies to redo is the nostalgia that you had seeing it as a child isn't going to carry over. So it's going to be very hard to capture that lightning in the bottle, you know, that over time there's this affection that as a fan you've come to. There's a comfort, almost like comfort food, you know, to see it. And, you know, it's all the things that were going on in your life at that time coinciding with the experience of watching it. You're not going to get it again.
No.
So,
and I think that if they try to reboot it, it's like a lot of things. When they try to reboot it, it won't go over as well, because with political correctness and everything else, and they're trying to, you know, we can't say certain things. Like, go back and look where they were. It wasn't about being, they weren't incorrect. They weren't being racist or anything else, but they're like, you don't want these kids swearing anymore. It's like, that's kind of how we were back then, you know? Yeah. So, and if they did a Goonies in today's world, they might be like, oh, look, I got a thing on here. We know where to find One Eye Willie. Okay, let's go find that. And, you know, it's the whole thing of no technology, that they did everything on their own.
Well, if it was realistic to today's kids, it would be, they'd be sitting on their butt at their house and they would just send a drone to go find the ship.
Yeah.
And they'd watch it from their screen, be like, oh, yep. Okay, that was fun. What do we do now?
Yeah. And in some ways, the only real sequel would be what happened to the ship. You know, they go to, you know, follow, you know, the, what happened when where they end up at. Realistically, most likely they sent out Coast Guard and they intercepted the ship because it wasn't going to get far.
Yeah. Well, I think the ship was found by Peter Parker there. Tom, what's his last name? In his Uncharted movie, they found the pirate ship in the hole and then lifted it. So I think he found One-Eye Willie's ship and took it.
There you go. Which is funny that the name of the pirate was One-Eye Willie, and nobody had a problem with that.
Well, I think because the older studio executives at the time weren't hip to.
Oh no, they were hip. They knew. They were all like, "Oh yeah, this will be hilarious."
Parents standards were different too. It's those inside jokes were allowed more. It's funny because this younger generation thinks they're so modern, hip, and they're more restrictive than ever.
Yeah, you
go back and watch even like the old network shows. I watch on a lot of reruns now. I watch on Three's Company and these different shows, and they were the stuff they got away with. They wouldn't allow now.
No.
It's like it's funny. They think they're so much more cooler than us, but they're restrictive on everything now.
Well, and the thing is that they see so much on their TikToks and other videos that is not safe for work that, and something like, yeah, we see that all the time. And that stuff. It's like for us, it was like when we saw movies and a lot of times like the kids movies in the 80s were like, yeah, we were kind of like that with our buddies running around having adventures. We all wanted to have that Goonie adventure even before the Goonies came out.
Yeah.
And things like that. But it's just when you got your buddies and you're playing, you're creating your environment, basically. You got your bikes, you got this, whatever you lived at, that became your magical place to be.
Well, and I think that's why you can't do a movie like that anymore. It's because today's kids don't do anything.
I think it's hard to do a movie like that now.
The closest you have is
set today, yeah. But even then, that's set in the 80s.
Back in the 80s,
yeah.
You have to everything stopped progressing in the 90s. After the 90s, kids stopped doing anything, and now they have to live vicariously through the past.
Right.
They don't know what it's like to go play in the woods anymore, to go ride your bikes all day, go down the street. I was actually watching this thing. It was interesting. They were talking about how everything changed in 1983.
Okay.
When the Adam Walsh story came out. And that all happened. And after that, parents started being afraid and to let their kids wander. And that in 84 is when the term play date started. And parents started getting involved with organizing their children's playtime and locations. And then they started hovering because the kidnapping craze, the fear was all over the place. And so parents started restricting how much their kids could just go out and play. So prior to 84, we just went out, Yeah,
well, at that point I was turning 13 in 84.
Right.
So I was
already now we were getting old enough
to
that we could still go outside and play. But if you were a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old in the mid to late 80s, your parents wouldn't let you go out.
Or not leave the yard. Yes, where we could see you.
Yeah, like for me, even watching. I have an elementary school right at the end of my street, and I'm guilty of this too. I walked my daughter to school every day. Not that I was afraid of her something happening. It's just that's what I did because it's like right down the street. It was time with her, and I always see all the parents walking their kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in 2nd grade, my school was 2 miles away across multiple busy intersections.
Uphill in the snow.
Yeah, we walked to school every day with our friends. We walked as a pack. There was no crossing guards. We had to wait for the red light, and we crossed ourselves.
Yeah.
And we would walk all the time. And all the kids, like you would never see a parent on the whole path to school. And now kids don't do that.
No, it's I see this when I'm out working because I go by schools all the time and into the neighborhoods, especially in Ann Arbor, and I'll see the parents doing two things. They're either walking their kids if they live close enough to walk, or they almost drive exclusively. I mean, they have busing, but gosh,
even the buses
with the amount of people that are driving and picking up their kids every day.
But even the bus stops. Kids don't walk to and from the bus stop anymore. There'll be 20 cars all parked at the bus stop.
Yeah.
And the second their kid gets off, the parent is picking them up and driving them 5 houses away. It's like, why are you driving? You're right there, your house. Like, and then in the morning, all these cars are parked. God forbid a child stands outside if it's 60 degrees out. They're all running their cars. Everyone's warm. There's interaction that happens between children at those bus stops. You talk, you have fun, you learn to wait. Like, none of that happens anymore. It's just odd. Just to tie it back to what we were talking about.
So the Adam Walsh thing, that was big. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just now to make any movie about realistic for a kid to watch a movie about their honest to God experience as children, it would just be them all sitting in a living room together, texting to each other, not talking, and sending memes to each other. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it ever says. But yeah. So yeah, that's why all these series, they have cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all these movies. Everything is like I haven't watched it. This one movie popped up on I think Netflix or something. One of those flipped through trying to find a movie to watch and the other day and didn't watch anything. Ended up just shutting it off because I was kind of tired anyways. But it's like some girl wakes up and she gets transferred back to like 1999. I'm like, yeah, you have to go back that far, to get less technology. I mean, the kids were getting on the computers themselves at home in the late 90s. And you had some of the texting on the computers. That way, it had to be physically on a computer. Yeah. But the physical texting on phones, everything else, took off in the mid-90s, especially with the adventation of our smartphones. I mean, I remember when kids started getting them, because I was selling phones in the early 2000s, and at the time, texting was new, and they were doing some of that. And then
texting, remember, it was you had the flip phones, and you had to like push one number 4 times to get the letter E and another letter. So it took you 10 minutes to type a simple.
Well, there was oh gosh, what was the one? It was the one that Paris Hilton used all the time, and they T-Mobile was really big on that in the early 2000s. Was like a Sidewinder thing, and it had a full keyboard, and it was a phone, but it was really designed for all the texting and all that.
The Blackberries really were the
Blackberries
then.
Yeah, Blackberries took off on the adult side more than kid side. Kid side got the I want to say it was an Nokia, like a Sidewinder or something like that, I think it was called. And that's what it took off for the general public. Most business people went to the Blackberry because besides texting, it had email capability, which was huge.
I had a Blackberry.
A lot of them had Palm Pilots before that.
Yeah, I got the Blackberry smartphone back in the day. And it had a full keyboard right on it, so I could type, but I had access to the internet, and that was like really cool.
Yeah.
And it had real buttons, which I like. I hate these flat buttons that smart screens have now, but it had real buttons. And I could type fast, but the BlackBerry kind of missed the boat. They didn't update the way everybody else did.
The two that Palm Pilot did come out with a smartphone. But they didn't do it right. Palm Pilot, the technology itself was getting way outdated as people were buying Palm Pilots. Those were basically little tablets.
Yep.
And then you could hook it up to the internet and download everything to it and upload. And
and that was like a glorified, remember the old Franklin planners?
Well, that's what it was. Yeah. Which people still use those. There's a lot of people still use a physical planner.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame. I mean, if I had a need for a lot to keep track, I'd probably want more of I'd probably try to integrate both, but I would use I'd put stuff into my digital calendar for reminders, but I'd want to have a physical planner. I used to have one when I did sales and stuff like that, because I didn't want to have to worry about trying to find internet. And this was even in days of having, like a BlackBerry where I can kind of get on, but if you didn't have signal, you got nothing. And I didn't like to take a chance of not having that physical side. I mean, I'm still that kind of guy. I want physical stuff versus all digital.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they still have the Franklin Planner stores, but they were huge.
Oh yeah. They had whole classes and systems and.
Oh yeah. There's still one around here. I think, let me see here. They still list them on. They have a website still. People, because again, people still use. Having the old analog physical version of it is still the way to go. And they sell tons of their binders were the big deal. They're expensive, everything else. But I used to have some of those that would, I had one like that. I keep everything I needed so I could easily reference to it. And it was definitely, I think still a good thing if you have that need for it. And I'm seeing even some younger people that get a planner every year. I see some of them with it here and there because they don't want to trust the phone. And if like something happens to your phone or whatever else, or they, someone grabs your phone, starts flipping through it, they're not going to mess with your stuff because you physically write it down. They can't take it away. So, but no, the Franklin Planner stores. I used to go to those every year for a long time. So
definitely.
But yeah, let's see here. I don't know where there's an actual store anymore. There's one in Utah. They used to have in all the malls, so that might be like the only one. So, but so they do it online. So, because again, it has changed quite a bit. So, and I'm sure they've got a lot of stuff to tie in technology with that physical side of it as well. So,
yeah, I'm sure you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the way to go. It all depends what you need. But if I had a serious need for stuff, I would still want more physical. I mean, it shows everybody like the business cards. Oh, just have this thing and have them scan it. They got it on their phone now. I still want to. I mean, I still keep my business card book. Mm-hmm. So because I want to, in case you can't. I mean, stuff on phones disappears all the time. So
for sure.
Well, yeah. Other than that,
I'll just pop up Last Light one more time here.
Yeah.
So post the link in the comments. So go check it out. We have 8 days left. Don't wait for the 8 days, though. Get in there. Let's make those stretch goals happen. We want to really maximize the value you get for your rewards by adding a lot of free stuff into your package. So get over there, share it, let people know about it. Whatever you do, it helps us. So check it out.
Excellent. So, hey, join us next week. We'll talk some more stuff. Next week is the week before Thanksgiving. So yes. I will not be here on the week of Thanksgiving. I think we're going to take that week off. We usually do. Yeah. So after next week, we'll be gone for 2 weeks, but we'll talk a little Thanksgiving stuff next week probably. And awesome. Scott can do his Thanksgiving thing he does every year there. And we'll go from there. So, hey, y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.